Okay, so I don't want to burst anyone's bubble, but I've been seeing a lot of marketing on social media regarding annuities and the State Guarantee Fund. And I just want to throw out there a little Wednesday wisdom for my 30 years in this wholesaling business regarding the State Guarantee and the questions that have come up in the past regarding the State Guarantee. We have a really good precedent now. We didn't in the beginning. When I started, we just had that executive life had already occurred. And it was still filtering through. I didn't know much about it, didn't know anything about that company because it was A+, but I didn't rep them or anything. It was, like I said, before my time. So when people will call through the decades about insurance, I'm like, we really don't have a current precedent on what would happen. So we point to the executive life a lot of times, which was, the only thing we had to point to. But fast forward to today, and I'm seeing people writing articles and talking about increasing these limits to $1 million. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's going to bring more problems than it's going to help. Trying to shore up these things. It's not a real government. The state guarantee is not a government thing. It's the insurance companies paying to this, right? You can look into that further for yourself. But we do have precedent set now with the Colorado bankers and the bankers group on what would actually happen to mainstream annuity clients should something happen to the insurance company or the insurance company be found to be needing a rehab, which is what happened here. We had a rehabilitation come about. And I've done different videos on that, and it's a separate topic. I just want to talk about the state guarantee and how we should talk about it. And this is my opinion on how the state, after the precedents we've seen set, we have really good experience here. So let me just jump into this. Here's how you would describe the state guarantee to a MYGA buyer. Hey, you're guaranteed up to $250,000 by the state guarantee associations. However, here's how this works out. If you're buying a MYGA for 5 years, expect you could be in that MYGA for, 10 to 15 to 20 years, based on if it goes into rehab or rehabilitation. So yeah, maybe your money's protected up to 250, but you may never see it in your lifetime, depending on your age. Like if you're 80, you may never see that money again. So it's really important to stick to the basics of this business. And that's the pay claim ability of each insurance company. How can they pay claims? And when I do my annuities, when I do my immediate annuity, my lifetime quotes, I use all superior carriers and high Comdex for this exact reason. We're trying to solve peace of mind or give peace of mind, right? It's not peace of mind if you've been getting a guaranteed income and something happens with that company down the road. I've sold SPIAs that are 30 years old, to people. When we started, they're still alive. They're still paying these out. These are with high quality carriers that we use for this. So, what I want to do is jump in and you can take a look at some of the past receiverships or stuff and how long it's taken. So the most recent one we have here was the global banker's life, right? And that's still going on, but it was 5.5 years before people. So you could have been in that 5-year MYGA for over 10 years. Executive life were over 22 years. The Executive Life California was over 15 years. Mutual Benefit, a lot of these I've never even heard of. I didn't know about Mutual Benefit. It was 10 years. Baldwin United Corporation, never heard of them until I decided to look this stuff up, right? 4 years. Maybe that's why it wasn't so horrible. And then you have the Reliance. I don't know if that was Reliance Standard or what, but the Reliance Insurance Group liquidated in 2001. That's still going on. That's 24 years. Now let's compare that. Let's compare that to someone you want real security. You go to FDIC. Why? Silicon Bank happened during the bankers, this whole debacle with bankers when they were doing some partial withdrawals and stuff. So Silicon Bank failure was one of the fastest resolutions in U.S. history. On March 10th, it began. California regulators closed the bank, right? And FDIC was put in as a rehab receivership. 2 days later, the regulators announced full protection for all depositors, including uninsured amounts above $250,000. So the taxpayers, if you're a Liberty bank, I'm not Liberty. Liberty's a great company. Forget Liberty. If you're a Bankers Life Group client, so your money's tied up in the annuity while they begin a rehab committee that's going to become the first debtors paid, by the way. And that rehab, I don't know, estimates are up to $80 million. Whereas you have a bank here and 3 days later they come in and it's all taken care of, including over 250. Those people over 250 should have lost the money, but the taxpayers the guy, a taxpayer could be a Bankers Life client, is funding this, right? Actually, no, because Bankers wasn't in California, but in theory, it could have been. You could be paying tax to offset FDIC while your money's being held up by State Guaranty or the insurance commissioner, in this case, Mike Causey, who, because of this 5-year delay, and the reason it went down and the way it was handled, the rehab was incompetent. The letters went out, caused more questions than answered. The way they did that free 25% was, it needs to be looked into. And definitely this rehab needs to be looked into. But yeah, Silicon Bank was all set day one, basically day 3, and everyone even above the limits, they received the whole thing. So I just want to get back to when you're talking about state guarantee limits to annuity, don't bring it up as some kind of guarantee. Don't bring it up. It's an underlying thing. You keep it in your back pocket. It'll be out in the contracts, but I wouldn't discuss it with the client at all. And if you do, might as well tell the client, well, are you okay with locking this money up for 18 years? Because that's how long it could possibly take, 10 to 18 years. So we know clients that were in this 5 years and they were at a surrender charge for many years and their money was just tied up. Even though they put the suitability in as, hey, I only can tie up this money for 5 years, even though those contracts had a guarantee of 6-month withholding. So the insurance commissioner said, yeah, we're not going to honor the 6 month, but we'll honor the 1.5 minimum, certain things like that. So at the time of receivership, at the time of all insurance questions, all guarantees go out the window, and it's up to courts, politicians, and insurance commissioners to decide what happens. And guess what? It's not going to work out great. So no, you want to stick with the highest rated carrier, especially for your lifetime income. If it's a MYGA and you're growing, whatever. But if it's lifetime income, you need those payments to come, and you don't need the headache. You don't need the stress of all that. So in the end, in closing, be careful how you talk about the state guarantee. And if you do, you better make it sound like the worst possible thing, and to focus on the pay claimability, the PACE claimability, pay claiming ability, whatever it's called, however you want to talk about it, of the insurance company. So like I rep companies like Penn Mutual, the Securian for lifetime income. They have good payouts, they're very competitive, and they have high Comdex, and they've been good at this business for a long period of time. So that's where I go. Now, there's B plus companies out there, there's B companies out there with 6.3, and that's fine if you want to buy those rates, but realize that 6.3 or 6% maybe become, when you yield it out after a state guarantee, may become only 4 or 3%. So you want to stay under the 250 limits. I have actually a backwards calculator that'll tell you the premium to put in, so you stay under the 250, all that good stuff. But that's the main thing of the insurance guarantee is not really that great of a guarantee. It's actually quite a nightmare if we have to get to that point. X, YouTube, LinkedIn for the most up-to-date information. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.